everyone. Another day of Yetzi's life consists of visits like this. Yeah, we were at the movies and she had a spike of an asthma attack because, for one, she couldn't find her inhaler. And it slowly started spiking during the movie. We went to go see Jumanji. I didn't get to finish it because I had to go pick up this little monster right here. Madge, say hi. Madge, say hi. Say hi. Yeah, so I had to go pick her up, and when I went to go pick her up, her thing started to spike just a little more. I can't tell if I'm holding this right. I don't need this at all. So, yeah. But she's doing okay right now. Right now they're about to bring in the respiratory doctor. They're going to start up breathing treatments, which are going to consist of most likely albuterol and one other one that I can't remember off the top of my head. But we'll keep you guys posted and give you guys updates.
Hi. Get your mama's back, Madge. Madge. Tell her to hit your mama's back.
Madge, hit mama's back.
Again. More Madge. Just pretend she's crying. She's crying.
Well, it's been about a good 10 minutes, honey. How you feeling? Okay, well... You can't tell... Yeah, so, been about a good 10 minutes. Almost down. That's the angel baby.
Are you okay?
Okay, this is what it looks like when she gets her breathing treatments. Albuterol, her favorite dose of medicine. They just came in right now trying to offer her a steroid that they usually do through IV, but for some reason this doctor ordered it by injection. And due to her having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, our chance of her getting an abscess and the pain in her veins is way more likely. Don't think the doctor knows that. So we got with the doctor to come in on that so we can talk to him about it. Because they usually give it through IV, not just a straight up injection. Sometimes these doctors get me really angry. I gotta be polite when I'm talking on here because someone doesn't. But yeah.
Blow, do it.
She's been in heaven since she's been back.
Hey guys, so another ER trip, but I finally got treatment, or respiratory treatment. They placed an IV. After battling with some of the nurses and the doctor, and the nurse practitioner, I should say. It's not even a doctor, it's a nurse practitioner. After going back and forth, they wanted to give me Solomedrol intramuscular, but at least for my body, it kind of makes this whole side of my body lock up, and then I'm unable to walk or move my arms. So that's why I don't like Solomedrol intramuscular, and I'd rather get it through an IV. Although I know Solomedrol is a very ugly drug, and I hate taking it, but due to my asthma, I know I need it. So yeah, I asked for a saline bag because I know it'll help better and it'll flush through my system a little better. But I have a funny feeling that these nurses and nurse practitioner are gonna give it. So I'll take what I can get. I'm lucky I got treated. I guess I shouldn't say I'm lucky because it's their job to treat, but at least where I'm located, they get upset when you advocate for yourself because, well, living with a chronic illness, you know your own body. And the nurses don't like it when you advocate for yourself because you're, well, going against them. So I'll keep you guys updated later and I'll talk to you soon. Did Mama change her hair color? You don't know? No, it doesn't hurt. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't hurt. What you do? Madge, are we waiting to be discharged?
Order.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Discharged. Hey guys, good morning. It is about now 6:30. I've been up since 5. I didn't record an update of yesterday's hospital visit when we got home. I was honestly just too tired to function. I was really shaky from the steroids and the solumedrol. So yeah, but now this is the effects of solumedrol, which is being up at the crack of dawn, in pain, and, well, freezing cold. The cold has nothing to do with solumedrol. It's just really cold in my house. So, yeah, we are up. So I figured I'd do a little update on kind of how the hospital visit went, which it could have gone a lot smoother. It was just, unfortunately, it was a battle with some of the nurses, and I hate to be finicky or picky about certain things at a hospital, but at the end of the day, it's my body. It's, it's me being treated, not them. And so sometimes, although I hate being picky and hate, I guess in a sense, conflict, I don't like conflict. I'm not a conflict kind of person. My fight or flight instincts kick in too fast. But, at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's my body. It's me being treated, not them. So if I have to speak up and say, hey, look, I know this is what the doctor, requested, but for my body, that's not going to work. And I know a lot of people, especially with chronic illnesses, and it's not even with people, just with people with chronic illnesses. I know it's like with a lot of people, but it's like, if you don't like the way you're being treated at a hospital, or the way your doctor's treating you, or kind of blowing you off, those are the times when you have to step up and really advocate for yourself and be like, you know what, no, I know this is what you want, and I know this is what you're requiring, but this isn't gonna work. And last night, that's what was happening, was the doctor requested intramuscular solumedrol. Now, for me personally, that causes extreme pain, and especially, it depends on where they give it. So if they were to give it TMI in the buttocks, for me, it makes my legs lock up to the point where I literally can't move for at least a good 2 to 3 days, and that means I'm bedbound for 2 to 3 days. Now, if it's in my arms, which normally I don't mind if they do intramuscular, if literally my sats are dropping and I'm about to be intubated and literally they're throwing the kitchen sink at me, which has happened, but that's a different story. So at those times where it's really crucial and nothing's opening up and you've already gone through the checklist, okay, then I honestly don't really have a say at that time, okay, then do it intramuscular. But if I'm not being intubated, or I'm not being, I guess, just that intubated, and I'm kind of steady, and I just need a good, nebulizer treatment, then, okay, I can kind of somewhat advocate for myself once I'm stable. I shouldn't say once I'm stable, because, half the time I'm kind of stable, but it's kind of hard to talk with the coughing and gagging, and yeah, let's not get into all the gory details. But yeah, so normally I can't advocate for myself. Once I get the treatment in me and I can kind of talk. Because during an attack, I can't really talk and I can't really speak. But yesterday, I think it was the nurse practitioner, ordered intramuscular. And like I was explaining to the nurse, as my mother was explaining, and my husband was explaining, I don't do it intramuscular. I'd rather do it through an IV. And I know some people are like, well, why? You know, it's an extra step. Well, like I said, intramuscular, if it's in an arm, my entire arm and like the right side of my body will tend to lock up. And that means I cannot use the right side of my body. Now, why is that an effect? I don't know. But then it causes for all the joints to hurt. Either way, because it's, well, Solumedrol, and it's prednisone in a liquid form, and it is a very nasty drug. But anyways, so the nurse was giving me a hard time because I told her, and my mom told her, and everyone else told her in the room, that I don't get it intramuscular. And she was like, well, you know, this is what the doctor ordered. And she was, instead of trying to, well, ask me like, okay, well, why isn't it that you want it intramuscular? She just told the nurse that or the doctor, or the nurse practitioner, sorry, that I was rejecting the treatment, which I wasn't trying to reject the treatment because I know I need it, you know, but it's just a better way of what will work effectively for my body. It's my body. I'm the one being treated, not you. So, yes, was I a little bit of a pain in the ass? Maybe. Did I make her job of a long day probably just a little bit harder? Yeah, maybe. And I do apologize for that. But at the end of the day, I'm being treated. You know, and it's not, I don't want to be rude and mean. And like I told her, I was like, I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I'm like, it's just, it's going to help make your job easier in the long run in case this goes south. Because that tends to happen with me. 1 minute, one treatment will work fine and you can discharge me. Moments later, well, it can go south and, well, I'm being intubated. So it's not so much that I'm trying to give her a hard time. It's just there's some treatments that work better for different people, and getting Solumedrol through an IV works for me. You know, and like I said, it might have made her job a little harder, but it's just the way things work. And the reason why she was upset with me to begin with is she tried giving me cough suppressants during an asthma attack. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I have an asthma attack, I cough to the point where everything in my system, well, comes up. And like I was trying to explain to her, I was like, if I take them now, and okay, so like I was trying to explain to her, if I take them now, I'm gonna throw them up. And well, then the medication at that point would be pointless. So she was upset with me because I, at that time, did refuse the cough suppressants. But like I told her, once I'm stable and once I get my treatment, I don't mind taking them. I just need to be stable first. So when she had a kind of a battle with me, she was like, fine. And she walked out, which she wasn't really happy. Then they sent another RN nurse because I was being quote-unquote said difficult. But, you know, honestly, I don't mind being difficult. I don't mind, you know, I don't like it, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm trying to make their job easier, and, well, my life a little easier. With a lot of the crap that I gotta go through, and everyone else that has to go through it, you know, with, you know, having family members that have chronic illnesses, we're not trying to make other people's lives difficult. Can we at times? Yeah, but our own lives are difficult sometimes, and, well, you just gotta roll with the punches and keep moving forward. And that's exactly what happened. I wasn't trying to make her life difficult, but she had already, I guess, had a long day, which you could tell on the woman's face. You know, and normally I do like a lot of the staff there, but I just got the wrong end of the stick last night. So please, you guys, for all of my Spoonie friends, and not even just my Spoonie friends, just my friends in general and family, advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to speak up, because it is your body. And I know I keep saying that, and I've said it 1,000 times, and I will continue to say it 1,000 more. It's your guys' body.
You know it better than anyone. You know what you go through on a daily basis, because I believe we're all fighting battles. You know, everybody has something to fight for. Everybody has shit they go through. You know, it's, you know your body and yourself better than anyone. You're gonna know something's wrong, something doesn't feel right, the moment it starts. And I happen to be one of those people. So yes, am I a pain in the ass when it comes to being treated sometimes? Probably. And I do apologize, but there's not much I can do. You know, it's just the way my body is. And it's just the way, you know, certain treatments work. And last night I asked for, what was it? A saline bag, so that it can flush through my system. And it can kind of help my system along, because I know with my POTS and stuff, I know saline helps. And I've heard a lot of people have saline infusions, which I've been trying to talk to my doctor about, but let's save that video for another day. So I know it helps, and I know it helps with my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you know, with getting just Medrol in general, and just being on prednisone, which I'm probably going to have to be on for the next 5 days, which I don't like, because of the fact that it causes, one, extreme amount of joint pain, lots of nausea, unbearable headaches, and it causes, for some reason, I feel like in my body, I don't know about you guys, let me know in the comments down below, everyone that has EDS, or people that I know that have EDS, if you guys have ever been put on prednisone, does it make your guys' joints dislocate or sublux a little more? Because, I mean, looking back now in all, like, my asthma, every time I don't want to say asthma experience, but every time I've been hospitalized, I feel like the next couple days that I'm on prednisone, or however many days the doctor decides to put me on prednisone, I feel like my joints sublux more. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys have that too. Or if you guys experience, or what your guys' experience are with like prednisone and Medrol. Because I know it can be really nasty and ugly, and I know it's not fun. So let me know. But other than that, that's kind of how my experience was. But like I said before, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to, you know, you guys may feel like you're being a pain in the ass. Sorry, I know I keep switching arms, but my arms hurt. Sorry. And if I'm really shaky, it's still the medicine. I'm trying to hold the camera as steady as I can. So sorry if it's extremely shaky and I keep moving. Anyways, but like I was saying, don't be afraid to speak up. You know, somebody's got to. And that's pretty much about it. Is, you know, we got to keep moving forward every day and pushing through and keep on going with a smile, no matter how bad everything hurts. But don't be afraid, because I know for a very long time I was afraid. I didn't want to speak up. I didn't want to say anything, because I'm like, well, I always thought that the nurses knew better than I did, and that they knew what they were doing better than I did, and of course the doctors knew everything. But that led to some unhealthy, negative hospital visits, and looking back on it, kind of harmful. There's been lots of situations where I couldn't advocate for myself, and it led to some, like I said, scary hospital visits. And I was very young back then, and I didn't want to speak up. Like I said, I hate conflict, and I hate being the one to start conflict. And like I said, my fight or flight instincts do kick in, and normally it used to be flight instead of fight, but now it is fight. Because, you know, I was tired of the way that the nurses would treat me and the way the doctors would treat me, because not a lot of people know what Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is. So when you go in to hospital visits and you're like, hey, I'm in pain, or hey, this is happening and that's happening, or you got a multitude of symptoms going on and you don't know what's going on with your own body, and you're asking for help, and they look at you like you're nuts, or they tell you it's all in your head and you're crazy. So you start believing it. You start believing that you're crazy. You start believing, like, well, maybe it is all in my head. Well, or the doctor tells you you're a hypochondriac. It's like, well, shit, maybe I am a hypochondriac. And you start believing these things. And then when things finally occur and puzzles, you know, get put together and the doctors are like, oh, wait, no, I was wrong. This is actually what's going on. And then you finally get some sort of relief, but then at that moment, that's when I started advocating for myself, because a lot of doctors, time after time, especially when me trying to get diagnosed with EDS and my multitude of symptoms and multitude of diagnoses, you know, that's exactly what was happening. I kept getting told I was crazy. I kept getting told, like, it's in your head. It's, you know, it doesn't exist. So I kept believing it. And I'd go stir crazy, like, no, I'm feeling this. Like, I know what I'm feeling. And they would tell me, no, you're crazy, you know, it's in your head. And, you know, that really does take a toll on a person, on anybody, you know. So anybody who's going through that, or, you know, who's been through that, you guys know that it's, you know, it's in your mental health and just in general. And so at that point, that's when I was like, you know what, no, something's got to change, you know, and you got to be that change for not just yourself, but for the next patient that walks in, for the next person that walks in behind you who does need help, or, you know, for someone who, I don't know, maybe someone who watches this video and sees that, like, they're afraid to speak up and they don't want to speak up. No, I encourage you, speak up. Don't stay quiet. Be the change. Because there's a lot of problems with our healthcare system. A lot. And so, we have to be the ones to change it. And, you know, if we keep just lying down and rolling over, well, guess what? That's not going to help it. We need to be the change we want to see. And if that means fighting back with your doctor or your nurse and saying, like, hey, look, I know my body. I know what's going on. Advocate for yourself. Let him know you have a voice. God gave you one for a reason. Don't be afraid to use it. In a polite way. I mean, if you're gonna get crazy, I wouldn't recommend doing it in a hospital, but hey, sometimes you gotta, I guess, right? But anyways, that is my little rant for the morning. I think I was on a good one. Sorry, y'all, but like I said, have a great day. Stay positive. God bless. And talk to y'all tomorrow.